Hey, y'all. It is Renelle Brooks coming back with another episode of Purpose and Power Podcast. It is episode 19. Episode 19, guys. I'm your host, and we are talking today about something super practical. But before we get into that, I want to tell you guys thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot even believe it is 19 episodes. And so I'm so excited for this season, guys. This was something that I really stepped out in faith and just went for it. And it has been awesome being able to share my heart with you guys, being able to share the skills with you guys, so you will not remain stuck. My heart and my desire is that you put into the earth what is inside of you, and the strategy, the skill set, the tools to be able to do that, I want you to have. That was the purpose of season 1, and I am so excited to have gotten out what was inside of me and share with you guys. So this week we're talking about how to break SMART goals down into concrete, bite-sized objectives that you can actually complete. Yes, we want to complete the goals that we set. We don't just want to write the goals, but we want to make sure that we implement the goals. So this episode is for my visionaries, my planners, my builders who have amazing goals, but just need a little bit of help mapping out the steps to get there. So we're talking about real progress, guys, not plans. You know, I always talk about the fact that it is great minds, it is wonderful minds that have all of these plans and steps, but the magic happens through implementation. So when you implement all the strategic steps that you have learned over this past season, that's when you will begin to see the fruit of what you have done. So let's talk about objectives. What are they really, and why do they even matter? So if we really keep it real, goals are great, but the objectives are what moves the needles. So you've heard me talk about the SMART goals, and you've heard me talk about how the SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. How do you go from writing them down to working them? That's where the objectives come in. Objectives are the many milestones that measure your progress. So if you have ever worked on a project, the milestones is what keeps you on task. They're benchmarking, they're significant, and they help you measure your progress. And they help you measure your progress. Objectives are those small little steps, the everyday tasks, and they add up to big wins. So let me give you just an example. You guys know I always like to give examples because me just talking doesn't really mean anything. But if you can kind of stretch your mind around an example, it will help you see it more clearly. I'm going to give you a breakdown of a SMART goal into objectives. So let's say that the SMART goal is to launch a grant-ready nonprofit application package within 3 months. That's a really solid goal, but to bring it to fruition, you will need those objectives. So your objectives might be: week 1, identify the legal requirements in your state. Week 2, write your mission, vision, and values, guys. We drilled that in. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, you guys need to go back, take a time out, listen to those episodes. Week 3, draft your bylaws and your board roles. Week 4, submit for your EIN and open your business bank account. Week 5, create your initial program outline. And those steps are your objectives. So now suddenly that huge goal with all those things flying around in your head, it becomes doable. Bringing those objectives in makes goals doable. And that really is the power of objectives. You know, I'm going to give you some homework, but I want to give you some steps first. So how can you turn the SMART goal into really clear objectives? Remember those goals, guys. We talked about it in our last episode. So here are some clear steps that will help you to create those objectives. So step one, define the goal clearly. We went over that in our last episode. Be honest and not so broad. We want them to be specific. So we're not talking about goals that are, for example, start a nonprofit, but this sounds more realistic. Build a two-program nonprofit that serves unhoused youth. And you know from our last episode that needs to be a time linked to that as well. So build a two-program nonprofit that serves unhoused youth within 6 months. So you want to have your time frame there and those goals that you build. And then step two, you want to do a brain dump. And guys, we went over this. We went over mind mapping. And this is a process that helps you get everything out of your mind and onto paper so you can visualize it. Then you can move into the next step. But the brain dump is this. Think about every single thing you would need to complete that goal. Write it down. Do not edit it, just let it flow. When I was writing my first book, a fellow writer told me, do not take your pen off the paper until you have no more thoughts in your mind. That means keep that pen on that paper until there's nothing else flowing. And I want you to do the same thing. Every step or everything, every resource, every potential partner that you would need, everything that you would need for that particular goal to be fulfilled, I want you to write it down. Don't think about it. Just dump it all out of your brain and get it on paper or in your digital notebook. So what you're going to do with those things? Step three, you're going to group those things into categories. So let's say, for example, using our same goal, you're going to set up a category that says legal setup. You'll set up a category maybe that says branding. You're going to set up a category for your community partners. And then you may set up a category for your funding research. So once you do that, you're going to group each one of those things that you took out of your mind and put on paper into those specific categories. Okay? Let's move on to step four. We're going to add time frames. How long do you think it will take you to complete each category? You can break them down to weekly or bi-weekly tasks so that you can complete those steps. So step five, guys, this is our final step to getting objectives written down for your specific goals. Step five is to prioritize. And this is very, very important. Now you have those categories, you have everything written underneath each category. So you want to prioritize what is mission critical. And when I say mission critical, it refers to anything that is essential for the success of your operations. So it could be a task, it could be a project, it could be a system, anything that is going to be essential so that you can operate. Those things are critical. So those things need to be prioritized above, let's say, doing a flyer. So what can wait? What can be outsourced or delegated? Okay? So boom, you've got your objectives. All of those things are taken care of. You have created bite-sized actionable steps that you can then start to walk out so that you can complete your goal. So I want to just give you some common mistakes that you want to make sure you avoid. So doing too much at once. Guys, I tell my clients, we're not developing 15 goals. Let's be realistic here. That's why you have to have goals that are SMART. and you're not doing 15 SMART goals this week. So I want you to choose one goal and 3 objectives per week. Okay? So you may be on that goal a couple of weeks, but at least you're getting things done that are concrete and you're not just whizzing by to make sure you complete everything on your task list. Okay, guys, because remember, we're moving in excellence, we're operating in excellence, and we want things to be done excellently. So we don't want to rush through it to the point where we make mistakes along the way. So skipping deadlines, guys, don't skip deadlines. Remember, your objectives need a date. And I always say this because you won't get anything done unless you set a time to it. Just today, I had to reassess some things, create some goals, and put timelines on them so I would get them done. I had started that scope creep, guys. We talked about it. I started that mission drift. We talked about it in our mini series. And you don't want to do that. So set a time, set dates that you realistically can complete this. Now, we're not setting dates 2 and 3 months out, guys. Come on. Don't say, oh, okay, I'll get it done at the end of the first quarter and it's January. No. Make sure they're realistic so that you keep moving toward your goals. Not tracking your progress. Okay, guys, there are plenty of tools. One of them is Asana. That's one of my favorites. You can use Trello, you can use ClickUp, or you can just use your digital notebook or your paper notebook. But track your progress because progress gives you peace. It lets you know that you are accomplishing something. So what does that do? That piece to let you know that you're accomplishing something, it keeps you from constantly feeling like you're behind. What if you feel like all the time, I have to catch up, I have to catch up, I have to catch up? But in reality, you're right on target, but you don't know it because you haven't tracked your goals. You haven't tracked your progress. Okay? So I want to give you guys a power move. Power move, guys. Keep that in mind. A power move. So this week's power move is to pick one SMART goal and write out 3 concrete objectives for that SMART goal within the next 7 days. Yes, guys, 1 week. I want you to just not write them, but I want you to actually do them. Okay? And remember, guys, the unsexy launch that I told you that the boss architect coined that term doesn't have to be perfect, just done. You can go back and change and tweak later. But sometimes there's an enemy of progress because you are trying to be perfect and you do not have to be perfect. Okay? Just remember that, guys. So what I want you to do after that, guys, is share your progress. Hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram, I will put it in the description. But for those of you that do not know, it is at simply_Renelle. Because I want to celebrate every step with you guys, the progress that you are making towards your purpose, where you may have hiccups that I can quickly give you some tips for. And if you have not watched the other episodes, I want you to take a look back. I give some really good information to help you to move forward. We don't want anybody stuck. This is not the time to be stuck. Remember, your dream is real, but it needs a map. And objectives, that's your GPS. Renelle Brooks here with Purpose and Power Podcast. Until next time, stay strategic, stay purpose-led, and move forward with power. I will see you on the next episode, guys. We're moving quickly, rapidly to episode 20. Episode 20 is going to be an awesome episode. You're going to see what I have for you in store. I have lots of great things coming up. So, guys, keep in tune with the podcast. Don't miss an episode. If you have not signed up for my newsletter, I will put a link in the comments below. Sign up for the newsletter, guys, so you can know when the episodes are coming out, what we're talking about, what we're doing, and all the great tips that you can use for your project, for your business, for your nonprofit, guys. And let me know if this is valuable for you. And also, guys, hit me up. We're going to be doing a season 2, and I want to know what problems or challenges that you are having that you would like to have help with. So stay tuned. There's lots of great things coming up. We'll talk soon, guys. Take care.